This was the case when we had no specific calibration or mark from the inside of the machine. Nowadays, we get this thing to 1/nanometer. This label, this mark, this sign on the diffraction pattern. So when you see this sign of the diffraction pattern, then it makes your job easier. Here, you can use the formula D is equal to L/Rm. L is the length of the scale bar. You measure it with a ruler or a micrometer and say this is, for example, 1.8 up to here centimeter, so that accuracy is not lost. As many as points you can go after the decimal point, go, because your accuracy is needed up in the terms of 10 power 9. So as much as you can go after the decimal point, go. And R is the spacing measured on the diffraction pattern. So on the diffraction pattern, one will easily say that measure the distance between two spots. But there the accuracy will not be that much. So I select 5 or 10 spots and measure the distance between the first and the last, right? And when I measure them exactly, then I divide by the number of spaces. So it gives me relatively more accurate distance between the diffraction spots. So you got R, the length of the scale bar is also measured there, and M is the reciprocal length indicated by the scale bar and angstrom inverse. If it's say 2, then it is the reciprocal length indicated by the scale bar, and by converting them into angstrom, you divide it by 10. If it was real space, then you will have to multiply it by 10. But if it is the reciprocal, then you divide it by 10. So once you have got L, R and M, then you can measure D. When the D's are known, you have a data of interplanar spacing. The angles are easily measurable from here. Take that one line, put the protector here, and check every point that at which angle it comes. And that is the angles among different planes. Each spot is representing a plane. The spots in one line are parallel planes. Parallel means that if my 0 is here, then this is 100, this is 200, this is 300, and backwards minus 100, minus 200, minus 300. The choice is yours. Whichever point you select is the origin. So you calibrated the machine when there was no information on the negative you got from the camera. You calibrated yourself with a known sample. And if the machine gives you this line, then it makes your job easy by using that equation to measure the D values. The D values are measured by the equation, and the angles can be measured directly, interplanar angles. And when you know the interplanar angles, you know the interplanar spacing, then you can use that data to calculate the lattice parameters and the alpha, beta, gamma angles for a specific structure which they are soluble to. But in most cases, you don't need to calculate the latest parameters. For example, from the diffraction pattern, you got 6, 7 d-spacings, right? When you got these d-spacings and they are already represented by the relevant Miller indices, HKL indices, then calculate the angle between different indices. Indices means planes. And if that are matching, interplanar angles are matching, the d values are matching, then you say this is because of this phase. And always use supporting technique to confirm your data. Don't rely on one technique alone, right? When you do microscopy, you must have done XRD before that, so that you are not misled or misguided by a little bit disalignment of the microscope. Slight disalignment can lead to wrong results. But when you have XRD data in front of you and your microscopy data is matching that, then you say that yes, my information is correct, and you give in reference that I calculated all the d values reported in this table from the diffraction pattern experimentally, then compared these with the GCPDS card number or the ICDD card number 04-0784 for gold, right? With cubic symmetry, with space group FF3 bar M, which space group number is 225, with lattice parameter this, and my interplanar spacings were, and the intensity if you are talking of XRD, and just the interplanar spacing FU and angles are matching the ICDD card number this for cubic gold, for monoclinic silicon, for monoclinic lithium silicate, or whatever phase you have found there. If they are matching, then you give the reference and say consistent with that data. Number one, the ICDD card confirms your data, and secondly, you give a reference that yes, Plane also did this study and they found this and that, and my results are confirmed by that. If they are not confirming, then you should go back to your experiment and recheck it, and if time and again you are getting that difference, then you focus upon that difference, and that is your novel result, which has not been reported previously. And then you go for other possible interpretation. But those other possible interpretation must be logical and must be supported by strong scientific arguments. And that will be your publishable novel result. Right? That electron microscope, I told you in the start, it shows you the morphology of the crystal. The morphology of the individual crystal. If you look in some places, do you see the difference? That here we have spheroidal crystals, but there we are having lake-like morphologies. By lake-like, I mean spheroidal are like this, and lake-like are like this, right? I should measure the elemental composition of this and this, and I should take diffraction pattern from this and this. The elemental composition will tell me the chemistry of the material under the beam, under the electron beam, right? And the diffraction pattern will tell me about the crystal structure of the material under the beam. So I got two significant information regarding the morphology, secondly regarding the chemistry, and thirdly regarding the crystal symmetry of the material under the beam. And when I checked here, it was showing me calcium and phosphorus. When I checked here, it was showing me calcium, aluminum, and silicon. Calcium, aluminum, silicon must be in specific ratios. Similarly, calcium and phosphorus must be in specific ratios. If it is Ca3PO something, right? Then my Ca3 and P must be in 1:3 in moles. So if I have 3 moles of calcium and 1 mole of phosphorus, then the possible compound is tricalcium phosphate. Similarly, if it is CaAlSi, and I have 1 mole of this, 2 mole of this, 3 mole of this, then my compound should look like that: Ca1Al2Si3. Then I look into the formulae of the available phases in these. And when I find that this is tricalcium phosphate and this is anorthite, calcium aluminosilicate, then I go to the crystal structure. If the crystal structure D values are also matching the ICDD cards of the relevant compounds, then I say that the lake-like morphology corresponds to the anorthite crystals. And again, I will have to give a reference that yes, this phase crystallizes into lake-like morphology and that sort of crystal symmetry as well. Crystal symmetry and morphology are two different things. Never consider that a crystal appearing cubic will be corresponding to the cubic crystal system, right? It may be orthorhombic, it may be triclinic, it may be tetragonal, but the morphology may be cubic. So the morphology and the crystal system has no interrelationship in electron microscopy. Right? If a crystal is spherical, there is no spherical crystal system. So what it corresponds to? So the symmetry, the crystalline symmetry and the apparent morphology are different things. Right? So if I say that this lake-like morphology corresponds to the anorthite phase, I must give something in reference. That yes, I found it, its elemental chemistry is matching that of anorthite. The crystal structure I measured from the electron diffraction spots matches that particular crystal phase. But still, I need some reference. And if there is no reference in the whole literature, then you have done a novel thing. This is your novelty. If it gives you something different, then that difference should be explained. Whether your raw materials were pure or there was contamination. Was your machine properly calibrated or not? Was the accuracy of your machine comparable with that which was reported previously or not? You will have to check all these things. Then you can see that I did the same thing and got this. This means that there must be some reasons for it, and you will have to search all those reasons and explain your data.